Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my guided relaxation event here with you at the Virtual Village Hall. This is my first ever event, and I'm actually a little bit nervous, but it's always good to challenge ourselves, isn't it? But I'm really excited to be here. I don't know where you guys are in the world, but it's a funny day here. It's a little bit overcast, but the sun is really trying to burst its way through, and I'm pretty sure that if I go for a walk right after this, I will see some rainbows and see all the delights of spring, the daffodils, the crocuses, the snowdrops, and all of the buds on the trees. It's going to be brilliant, even if it does rain a little bit. So, I'll introduce myself. My name's Emma from Inspired to Change Spalding. I'm a clinical solution focused hypnotherapist and psychotherapist. And using my training in neuroscience and hypnotherapy, I guide people to unlock the power of their brain, to take control back from the exhaustion and the stress of anxiety, build self confidence, self esteem, and discover the best version of you. Sounds brilliant. I'm really pleased to be here because that means you're starting the weekend in exactly the right way. And I know that you've got Dave Rennie on at 2:30 for some yoga. So what a perfect day to do some relaxation as well. So if you've never experienced a guided relaxation, you're in for a wonderful treat. All you need to do is sit or lay down as comfortable as you can. You might want a small blanket to keep you warm. And all you need to do is just sit back and relax and listen. I'm talking to you through some sort of positive language patterns. It's really, really easy. But before we do that, I'd like to get your brain working a little bit. I'd love to share with you some of the knowledge around the brain so it can help you to get it working a little bit better, thinking a little bit differently about how you perceive the world. And this is something that's really quite close to my heart, and actually something that I'm quite passionate about helping people to do. It's at the core of what I do. And we've only got 30 minutes. It's Friday morning, it's the end of the week. I'm not going to bore you with loads and loads of science, but it is really important to understand how our brain works, why we think and feel and behave the way we do. Okay, I'm just going to quickly check the comments. I can see I've got, oh wow, we've got loads of people. We've got some ones from Coventry, Epsom, Wales, Northumberland. Good morning. I hope you've all got some decent weather wherever you are. So yeah, there are really two important parts of our brain to remember. And I've got my lovely friend here to help me explain it. This is Scully. He's pretty cool. He's my new friend. And he's got some great teeth. So he's going to help me explain. So first, there's our intellectual brain. So you can imagine that being the green part at the top. We don't share this part of our brain with any other animals. That means that we as humans can invent iPhones, planes, go to space, be creative, write music, all the amazing things that make us human, all the amazing things that make us a successful species. In here, we store all of our skills and experiences that we've had in our lives. It's like a vast library of resource that we can access anytime. So we can find solutions, learn and perfect new skills, and feel good about ourselves and how we interact with the world. This bit of our brain has been key to the human species not just surviving, but thriving too. And we did this by evolving our reward system in the brain and the body. So our caveman ancestors knew that providing food for himself and his family was a good thing because he was rewarded for that. Being part of a tribe is better than being on our own, and we're rewarded with that social interaction and that connection. And that reward is a release of chemicals in the brain that made him feel happy. It gave him that sense of achievement and motivation to carry out the task again. And that's not only what keeps us alive, it's the fundamental driver behind the success of the human species. And the great news is that we have that reward system in place today. When we're doing all of those lovely positive things that help us to be a better species, so acting positively, thinking positively, interacting with people and our pets positively, our brain releases the feel-good hormones, serotonin and dopamine, encouraging us to do those actions again. And when our bodies and our brains are flooded with serotonin and dopamine, we're happy, we're coping, we're motivated. We're functioning from our intellectual minds, where we can access all that lovely resource and be the best we can possibly be. And when our brain is full of serotonin, you can see it in our skin too. It glows. You've probably heard of a bride on her wedding day glowing. We have that expression, don't we? It's the happiest day of her life, and her brain's flooded with serotonin. In my therapy room, one of the first things I notice when people start to make progress is their skin. And these chemicals enhance the learning centers of our brain as well, help us to organize information, keep that information in our brain for longer, we retrieve it faster later on. They help us to sustain neural connections in the brain, allowing us to think faster, be more creative, come up with new ways of doing things. And when we're happy, when we're producing these wonderful feel-good hormones, we have access to that part of our brain. We're kinder, we're more compassionate, especially to ourselves and obviously to others too. So we've got, well, Scully definitely has, this amazing part of our brain and a fantastic reward system in the body to keep us on track. Well, yeah, remember I said there was another part of our brain as well. We haven't talked about this bit yet. Now, in this bit of our brain, is it kind of tucked away at the back? Imagine it being the orange part. This bit has evolved to keep us alive. It's not evolved us to progress like this part, but just to keep us alive in the first place. It's basically our fight or flight response, so we can run away from wild animals that may attack us. But actually, there aren't that many lions and polar bears around well, definitely not in the UK today. So you'd think that we didn't really need to use that part of our brain as often. But unfortunately, our brain doesn't know the difference between stress being caused by being chased by a lion or stress caused by money worries or a global pandemic, for instance. In fact, our brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality at all. So every time we're worrying about that difficult conversation that we need to have, our brain thinks it's actually happening. And this is how our anxiety levels can rise, whether that's really quickly or really slowly. And every one of these negative, anxious thoughts that we have get accumulated and stored up in our stress bucket. And when our stress bucket overflows, which it will do if we keep stuffing it full of worrying thoughts, we drop down from that intellectual, sensible part of our brain down to our primitive fight or flight part. And the bad news is here. The average emotional age of this brain is about 3 to 5 years old. So it's more likely to have a tantrum than come up with an intelligent suggestion. And this part of our brain has only 3 ways of responding, and that's anxiety, anger, or depression, or a right or mix of all the 3. And that bottom part of our brain, it's not intellectual. It doesn't have access to the amazing resource we have up here in this part of our brain. It's cut off when we go into fight or flight. So the only way it knows how to respond is by falling back on previous patterns of behaviour. So what we've done in the past has helped us to survive. This part of our brain will encourage us to do it again, keeping us stuck in these negative behavioural patterns, where we're not going to move forward or progress necessarily. It's designed to keep us alive. And so it looks at all situations in the worst possible perspective. It's a primitive part of our brain, and it's a really negative place to be. It literally starts to see lions everywhere. So it might sound pretty obvious. All we need to do is make sure we're functioning from this part of our brain and not from this part. Easy peasy. Well, not quite, because the primitive brain is always looking for danger. Therefore, to pay more attention to the negative and unpleasant things in order to help us learn to avoid them and overcome them in the future, which sounds great. It is great if we burn ourselves on the oven and we don't go and do that again because we know what happens. But it's not great when we've got an inbox full of emails to attend to. So we're constantly being pulled down to our primitive brain towards negative thinking. And the more we think negatively, the more anxious we become, the more it goes into our stress bucket. And then that primitive part of our brain starts to take over, and, well, you know the rest. But this is where the brilliant thing about the brain kicks in. Our brains are not hardwired. We can change the neural pathways by being aware of our own thought processes, practicing and instilling positive behavior patterns, keeping us releasing lots of lovely serotonin and dopamine, keeping us up here. And positive emotions flood the brain with serotonin and dopamine. And relaxation is a scientifically proven way to help you move from your primitive brain up here into the intellectual brain. So I'm going to finish up here with a beautiful guided relaxation. When people are feeling overwhelmed and stressed, meditation can be, for some, quite difficult. And this is where guided relaxation can really help. If you've got a voice to follow, guiding you through, it's almost like you're being given permission to relax. So take this as my permission for you to relax right now. And when we're in our relaxed state, when we can visualize certain things, we go off into the daydream-like state, which is fantastic for the brain. And we have access to the nice green part at the top. And we reduce that cortisol, that stress, and increase our serotonin. So let's do that right now. All you need is a comfortable spot to sit in, like I said earlier. Maybe have a blanket or a snug. I've definitely got my nice colourful blanket to keep me warm. And I'm going to guide you off into a beautiful tropical island, which I think we all need some of that wherever you are at the moment. So just wriggle around now, get yourself comfortable in your position. And I'd just like you to gently close your eyes, or you can keep them open and just soften your gaze. Wriggle around there in your position. And just hold a pleasant thought from this morning, something that's made you feel good. Begin to settle down and hold that positive thought in your mind, that good feeling. Breathe in some deep breaths, so in through the nose and out through the mouth. And do that just 2 or 3 times so you get your rhythm of your breathing right. And just imagine you're breathing in the purest, freshest air. And you're breathing out all of that hot stress and that anxiety until you're filling yourself up with that pure air, until it's reached every single part of your body inside. And just settle down there in your little bubble of protection, with that invisible force field all around you. And it can be as close to you or as far away as you need it to be to feel comfortable and feel safe. And you can repeat that in your mind now. I feel comfortable. I feel safe. And just take a deep breath. Relax every muscle in your body as you breathe out. And now I'd like you to imagine you can see yourself relaxing there. Wherever you are, you might be on the sofa, you might be in bed, you might be on a chair. And just pretend now that you can see yourself. You're breathing already so steady and becoming steadier still, even as you think about it, as though you were sound asleep, or pretending you were sound asleep, pretending so well that you're sound asleep that you could convince anybody who could see you that you were pleasantly sleeping. And while you pretend to be absolutely sound asleep, you can imagine that you have a dream where you are more relaxed than you've ever been at any time in your whole entire life, more relaxed than you ever thought possible to be. A dream where you're just like a rag doll laying lazily somewhere on a beach, your head comfortably shaded by soft shadows of fronds of palm trees. Fronds of palm trees that are moving just slightly in the gentlest of breezes, with your body beautifully warmed by the rays of the sun, and you catch yourself just drifting deeper and deeper, your body becoming even more relaxed with each breath that you take and with each word that I speak. Even more relaxed than that rag doll on the beach, every ounce of tension just drifting away from you, so that your arms and your legs begin to feel wonderfully devoid of all tension. Your entire body beautifully free from all of your cares and all of your anxieties, so that you can just simply relax. And you're floating even deeper now, so that you might even begin to lose touch with your hands and your feet, and with your arms and your legs. And sometimes people can become so relaxed that they lose touch of their whole body, so that they become just for a while just their thoughts, a lazy, easy, calm sort of feeling where nobody wants anything and nobody expects anything, and there's absolutely nothing whatsoever for you to do except simply relax. It might be as if you've been able to temporarily switch off all of those muscles while you relax there, just like that rag doll on that warm beach. Thinking about your left arm now, if you can even be bothered to find it, and just letting it, the last tiny traces of tension just float away. And your right arm too, just letting every muscle, every nerve, every fibre just let go. And down into your body, into your legs, just vaguely aware of your thigh muscles, just letting go, and your calf muscles, and it's as if your bones are even relaxing now. A wonderful sensation of the deepest relaxation you've ever experienced, just gently sweeping over and through your whole body, into every cell, every fibre, every pore, so that you can experience that very special sort of relaxation. And you can always find this feeling for yourself whenever you want to, whenever you need to. This exact same feeling of the most profound sense of relaxation, where nothing matters, where there is just this sense of calm, a quiet sort of feeling, where you have to think of nobody but you. You can always remember this feeling simply by remembering that rag doll warming herself in the sun, with her head gently shaded by the fronds of the beautifully elegant palm trees. And wherever and whenever you think of that rag doll, you'll be able to instantly find this very same deep relaxation that you have at this very moment. And whenever you enter this special state, your body's self-healing processes can work more efficiently, more effectively, and much faster, even faster than during the deepest of sleeps. These processes work more powerfully, re-energizing your whole body, helping to create a sense of inner calm and inner purpose. And this sense of inner comfort steadily creates an inner strength that helps you to be fitter and healthier in every way. And during this special relaxation, your whole body system works more steadily and more easily than at any other time, allowing your body's natural rejuvenating processes to work more effectively than ever. Each fibre, each cell being checked, repaired, replaced where necessary, in each and every organ in your body, so you can start to feel good about yourself. Start to feel really good within yourself, developing an inner strength that helps you to achieve your hopes and your desires, to fulfill your ambitions, your goals. And so feelings of an inner strength and resolve, of a complete determination to succeed, whatever success means to you, become deeper and more profound in every experience of relaxation. And you can be aware that the channels in your body, the nerves are just resting and relaxing, becoming stronger and steadier with each and every passing day. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to imagine certain things. But it doesn't matter if you can't imagine all the things I'm asking you. You might even find your mind wandering quite a bit, so that my voice just fades into the background. But that doesn't matter. The sound of my voice is going to continue to relax you, and it really doesn't matter if you don't hear a word that I say, because very soon you'll be more relaxed than you've ever known. Imagine yourself standing on the top of a green hill on a tropical island. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your head and your shoulders. You can see the long grasses around you moving slightly in the gentlest of breezes. And when you look down the hill, you can see a narrow, winding path that disappears into a small forest. And beyond the forest, you can see the ocean, with sunlight from the clearest of the blue skies dancing off the tops of the waves in the bay, so that the whole ocean seems to shimmer and sparkle. You begin to move lazily and easily down the path, the ferns and the grasses brushing gently against your legs as you pass, and you just catch the faint smell of the saltborn on the breeze, and become aware of the distant sound of the ocean on the shore. Maybe hear seabirds calling faintly from a long way off, and you marvel at the deep sense of calmness and tranquility that sweeps over you. As you move on down and down towards the forest, moving so easily and so effortlessly, you feel almost as if you're floating on air. And in no time at all, you find yourself drifting through the trees, their leaves closing overhead to form a canopy, their branches making an irregular pattern against the clear blue of the sky. It's pleasantly cool in the forest, and the gentle sounds of the birds singing and echoing faintly, and the scent of the trees and the undergrowth relaxes you further still. And as you move easily into the inviting depths, you're becoming lazier and lazier with each and every step that you take. You can't hear much, but you can hear a stream somewhere, its gurgling sound gradually mingling with the sound of the ocean. And as you follow the winding path down and down towards the beach, you know that's in front of you. You're weaving through the trees and brushing aside the occasional piece of foliage, until quite suddenly you feel the warmth of the sun on your head and your shoulders again, and you're finding yourself on a beautiful, deserted beach. A beautiful golden shoreline sweeps away in the gentle curve in front of you, to a distant point where the trees seem to come right down to the shoreline, so that their branches actually seem to overhang the ocean itself. You can feel the sand warm between your toes as you stroll lazily across the broad beach to the water's edge. The sand becomes a darker golden colour when you get there, and you enjoy the change of the darker golden colour and the cool firmness beneath your feet as you wander along the shore, leaving a lazy trail of footprints in the sand behind you. Every so often a larger than usual wave sends rivulets of water foaming around your feet, and as they recede you notice how the sand is washed away from tiny coloured pebbles like jewels glinting in the sun. The smell of the ocean, the sunlight on the waves, the sound of the water hissing over your feet and over the sand, all these things seem to create a sense of timelessness for some unknown reason, and you find yourself a comfortable position, a grassy hollow maybe, to just sit down and gaze out across the rolling depths of the horizon, trickling warm golden sand idly through your fingers, where a faint haze, which makes it difficult for you to see exactly where the sky stops and the ocean starts. And just as you try to fathom it out, you see a small white cloud appear. It's coming from somewhere near the horizon. It comes towards the island quite quickly, growing larger as it approaches, until it's immediately overhead, the largest, fluffiest, whitest cloud you can ever remember seeing. And you know somehow, just by instinct, that you can let all of your worries, all of your cares, all of your fears just drift up towards the large white fluffy cloud. The cloud absorbs all of your worries into itself, swallowing up all of your fears and anxieties, and becoming steadily darker all the time, until, just as it reaches its darkest, just as the last part of the spiral of your worries and cares disappears inside it, the sun bursts through, dispelling every one of your worries, every one of your fears and anxieties to the edges of this universe, leaving you totally relaxed and perfectly with ease within yourself, without a single care in the world. And I'd like to remind you that your life can be fun and every phase of your life can be a joy. And of course, it all now depends on you, because you and only you can allow those thoughts to live in your mind. And how you think determines how you feel, and how you feel influences the world around you. And you can learn to choose your thoughts with awareness of their power. You can seed beneficial thoughts in your mind, and day by day you'll find more and more how important it is to choose your every thought with care. Because the thoughts you seed in your mind, the concepts you accept with feeling, inevitably become your own living reality. And how you choose to think today, it influences all of your tomorrows. And your life is too valuable, too miraculous, to be left to chance. For this planet is the game player's planet, and the big game in life is a kind of treasure hunt, with the real you as the hidden treasure, and the real you is a treasure worth finding. For you, there is no greater treasure on earth. And it's an easy game because life is meant to be easy. In fact, you can find your way to the treasure house within while you relax. Yesterday has gone, and gone with it are all of the influences that could make it different. Tomorrow is but a myth that we can colour with imagination. But today, this very moment, all is real, and for this moment we live, and then that too is gone, either seized upon and enjoyed, or wasted. And you can choose too, which reality is yours, and you will you not? So now you can begin to just recognize all the sounds inside your room, wherever you are. Recognize the sounds outside the room. Recognize the sound of my voice, and just start to gently wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And with a feeling of positivity and unique purpose, when you are ready, you can open your eyes, have a stretch and a smile, or you can just stay exactly where you are, drift off into a sleep, or just have a nice relax for a little bit longer. I really do hope you've enjoyed the relaxation today. It's been fantastic to talk to you all. I will reply to all of your comments afterwards. And don't forget, you've got David Rennie today at 2:30 with yoga. I'm definitely going to have a listen and have a go. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the sun while it lasts and the rainbow and all the joys of spring. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.